Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Abdullah Patel English High School and DRT Junior College. Today we are going to start by our subject history, as we have already completed by chapter number 6 with notes. I hope you have written your history notes in your notebook. Today we are going to start by chapter number 7, that is decolonization to political integration of India. If you are having textbook, so you can see the chapter details. On page number 57 you are having a box, a pink color box, which appears as 4 parts of the chapter. Part 1 is 7.1. It is divided into 4 parts: 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4. Okay, 7.1 is decolonization to political integration of India, that is the introduction of the chapter. 7.2 is Dadra and Nagar Haveli, about Dadra and Nagar Haveli. 7.3 is about Goa. 7.4 is about Puducherry. Okay, so in this video, inshallah, we are going to cover up by two topics, that is 7.1 and 7.2. Goa and Puducherry, inshallah, I am going to continue in my next video. So moving further to the introduction of the chapter about the decolonization. Decolonization is the process of ending the colonial rule. Colonial rule means which country were ruling over here? Yes, British, French, Dutch and many more that we have already studied in our earlier chapter. So we want to end their rules, what they were ruling in our country. So we don't want their rule. We don't want that they should rule upon us. They should have their whole attention, their strong feelings, what they were having. They should not levied on us. So all these things were not accepted by the Indian now. Earlier, only one person was there, that was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who has opposed this system, or that foreigners were ruling on us. Okay, he doesn't like. But now what happened? There, each and everyone want decolonization. Okay, hence the process of decolonization is a process which means ending of colonial rule and handing all the political, whatever the rights they had taken from us, our own rights were taken by them, right? So whatever the right they have taken, so that right to be handed over, maybe political, maybe administrative, maybe economic, maybe social, whatever, okay, to local people by the colonists. Opposition to colonialism, struggle for independence and the nation under colonization. Regarding their independence are the three stages of decolonization process. India became independent on 15th August 1947. However, at that time there existed several princely states in India. Now at that time when we already got independence on 15th August 1947, but still there were princely state existed, okay, and hence they were ruled by the hereditary rulers who were under British sovereignty. Okay, means Britishers were handling, main head were Britishers. Only for showing purpose the princely states were ruling by the princes, but actually the main thread was started, the puppet show. It was like a puppet show which was shown by Britishers. The states were given the choice to decide whether to accede to India or not. Means whether they are giving their their parts to India or not. If the states had decided against it, then it would have become very difficult to create an Indian union. Okay, at that time it was decided that how many states should be included in India when India has become free. So at that time it was while making the constitution, the things were decided that how many states will be there, how many union territories will be there. So this should be included, right? So at that time when they were taking decisions, so this princely state were also going to be merged. So at this time what happened? Princely state were ruled by, actually the main ruling powers were in the hands of Britishers. So this was something like what will happen, whether they will include in our constitution or not. So that it has become very difficult to create the Indian Union. So at that time Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the first deputy prime minister and the home minister of India, who has taken the most important step, the rulers of the state, in favor of acceding the Indian parts to the political integration when the integration process was going on. Integration means of addition political integration, means politically all the states were merging out, okay, of India. That could be possible. So this was only possible by the efforts of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So in this lesson we are going to take a brief review of this event, that how we have taken our own states, we have merged. So many difficulty we have to see for merging our own state. The states are of our rulers, but it was actually ruled by, actually the decisions were taken by Britishers. So this thing, that how we have taken that powers from the Britishers and how we have merged, what difficulties, what obstacles were there in the way of handling this the situation, is seen in this chapter, in this points. Okay, so starting by 7.1, that is decolonization to political integration of India. So it was started by, see, I hope the slide is visible to you people, or if you are having textbook, so you can see the picture has been given of the one person, that is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, so he has played a very important role in the political integration of India, means political integration of the princely state. So when India has gained independence, received independence, when we have finally achieved independence, so there were more than 600 princely states, and it was of various size. So their political integration was the biggest challenge faced by the leaders at that time. Independent India's leaders have faced it as a challenge, that they have to merge those 600 states, whether the princely ruler will accept of merging or not. So that was the biggest challenge in front of our leader. So this was a political awakening in the princely state because of non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement, who has started? Yes, by Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, so this was the political awakening. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel handled the situation very coolly, with great skill. Each and every effort, whatever the tactic he can use, so very nicely he has handled the situation. He took a conciliatory approach and won the confidence of the ruler of those states. With the exception of Junagadh, Hyderabad and Kashmir, remaining states responded positively to the appeal and merged in India. Later, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel adopted a stern policy and resolved the problem of the accession of those states who were unwilling to accede. Means those states who were not ready, who were not easily accepting the invitation of merging their states. So there were another steps taken for those, and finally the problem was resolved. Okay, so moving further to the state, first state is Junagadh. Junagadh was a princely state in Saurashtra. That is Gujarat. The people of the states were ready to accede to India, while its Nawab wanted to merge in Pakistan. Now see here, the some religious concept is there, that the people are Hindus and the ruler who is ruling is Muslim. So here is the mentality that if I am the ruler of the state is Muslim, so I will merge with my own religious person. So that is the Pakistan. So over here the religious sentiment is because of religion awakening. Over here it was seen clearly that Nawab want to merge with Pakistan and the people over there want to merge themselves with India. Okay, so however common people oppose the Nawab's decision. He escaped to Pakistan. Finally the Nawab of Junagadh escaped, flew away to Pakistan, and finally in February 1948 Junagadh merged in India. So this was the situation in Junagadh. Means it was very not so much difficult situation. Only was that Nawab want to merge with Pakistan and the people, common people, want to merge with India. Okay, and finally when Nawab saw that the things is against him, all the people are against him, so finally he flew away to Pakistan. Okay, and hence Junagadh was merged with India. Then the next is Hyderabad freedom struggle. Over here what happened, Hyderabad was the largest among all the princely states in India. Means among 600 states, princely state, Hyderabad is the biggest one. So why it is said as biggest one? Because it included Telugu, Kannada and Marathi regional sections. Means three sections were there in Hyderabad, and which was ruled by Nizam. Again here religious identities is seen. Okay, it is ruled by Nizam. And people, common people, how many sections are there? 3 sections are there of what? Telugu, Kannada and Marathi, right? So this is something going to be very hurdle. Hence, Nizam has put in several restrictions on the civil and political right of his subject to a great extent. To fight against the suppressive policy of Nizam, people of those region established various organizations, namely Andhra Parishad in Telangana, Maharashtra Parishad in Marathwada, and Karnataka Parishad in Karnataka. Means 3 regions were there. So 3 organizations were created by the common people. For what they have created? Just to avoid the political and civil rights what he has put in, the restriction which has put in by the Nizam. Okay, so this 3 parishads have been started. Who has started? The regional section. Again I am repeating, Andhra Parishad from in Telangana, Maharashtra Parishad in Marathwada, Karnataka Parishad in Karnataka. Okay, hence over here Swami Ramanand Tirth. I hope the photo is visible to you people. Swami Ramanand Tirth has led Hyderabad freedom struggle skillfully with the help of loyal workers of 3 organizations. Organization already I have said to you, Andhra Parishad, Maharashtra Parishad and Karnataka Parishad. Okay, and hence he founded Hyderabad State Congress and gave a momentum to the struggle for Hyderabad's ascension. And finally he has shown the green flag that we are now finally going to merge with India. The Hyderabad State Congress passed a resolution in favor of Hyderabad's merger in India. It was opposed by Nizam for fear of losing his hold. He was willing to join Pakistan. Now again here Nizam as the king of Junagadh, he also want to merge with Pakistan. Here the same situation is there. Nizam also want Hyderabad to be merged with Pakistan. Here the Nizam was thinking like that. So the people were in favor of India while the ruler was in favor of Pakistan. So here Qasim Rizvi, who could exercise considerable influence over Nizam, founded an organization called Razakar. Qasim Rizvi and his organization practiced many atrocities, many what we can say, yes, they have started showing many atrocities against the people who were fighting for democracy, who wanted freedom, people who were fighting for freedom. So they have started to suppressing, showing the atrocities or suppressing the people, stopping the voice while the people were raising their voice. So they were suppressing the voice by showing their atrocities. Nizam was adamant on these policies. He was averse to any negotiation and called all channel of mediation. Ultimately the Indian government launched a police campaign against Nizam. This campaign was named as Operation Polo. On 17 September 1948 Nizam finally surrendered and Hyderabad state was merged in India. So this was something like here the fight had taken place. In Junagadh there was no fight, but in Hyderabad there was fight and Nizam has to surrender himself, and finally Hyderabad state was merged in India when on 17th September 1948. Okay, I hope till here you have understood. The next state is Kashmir. It is the major issue. Kashmir, I hope you have listened the name Kashmir issue. Now over here what happened? Here the king is Hari Singh. The ruling king of the state of Kashmir was Hari Singh. He had decided neither to join India nor Pakistan after independence. Means till now he has not decided where to go. As he is, if we see from religious point of view, so the king is Hindu and the people living over there were majority Muslim. So Muslims, they will try to go to Pakistan, and Hindu king is there, so he will go to merge with India. Okay, but over here as the situation we have seen in Junagadh and in Hyderabad, but over here Hari Singh till now, means after independence, he has not decided whether to merge his state by Pakistan or by India. Okay, however Pakistan had planned to annex Kashmir to its territory, and Pakistan, who was sitting and seeing all the play very happily, the Pakistan was very happy to see that how many problems are going on in India while merging this the political integration. Okay, so Pakistan has already had planned that I am going to annex Kashmir, whether the king is going to give me Kashmir or not, but I am going to annex it. So this was the plan of Pakistan. Therefore, Pakistan began to pursue King Hari Singh on 22nd October 1947. Armed bands of intruders attacked Kashmir from the Pakistan border. King Hari Singh, who wanted to maintain independent status, asked India for help. Now, finally, what happened? As King has not decided to whom to surrender, he want independent state. Means neither he want to join with Pakistan nor with India. He want his own empire. He want independence. He don't want to be under anyone. But what happened? Pakistan, who was already planning of annexing, he has declared war. So there was no chance for Kashmir, for king, that he has sought help from India. On 27th October 1947, he consented to merge Kashmir in India, and finally, as he seek help from India, so he decided that I am going to merge Kashmir with India, and officially submitted the agreement, instrument of accession, to the government of India. I hope the story is clear to you people. I am repeating again. The king was Hari Singh. He was confused after the independence of India for merging his state to Pakistan or to India, as he want independent state. But Pakistan, who was planning to annex Kashmir, had a war on him, had an attack on Kashmir. So there was no way for King of Kashmir, Hari Singh, that he sought help from India. As India has helped, India was readily accepted the help of Kashmir for King Hari Singh. So he decided that I am going to merge with India. I hope the story is clear to you people, background is clear to you people of Kashmir issue. Okay, now moving further, the Indian army was sent for Kashmir's protection, and finally this decision, as Indian government has listened to the decision, the Indian government has sent Indian army to Kashmir for the protection, and it captured a significant portion of Kashmir's territory that was acquired by the armed intruders from Pakistan border. However, they managed to keep their hold on some portion. In 1948, India presented the Kashmir issue in United Nations. Thus, Kashmir issue became an international issue. Even the United Nations could not persuade Pakistan to withdraw their troops from the territory of Kashmir occupied by them. However, then the National Conference Party decided to publicize to solve the issue and to accede Kashmir to India. The Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir was drafted, and since then Jammu and Kashmir had been an integral part of the Republic of India. It was accorded a special status under Article 370. So this happened likewise only because of the greediness of Pakistan. Pakistan has lost Kashmir state, okay, and all the hold came on in India, and India, who has got the golden opportunity, has fought with Pakistan. And when Pakistan has entered in the Pakistan border, over there again there was a fight between Indian army and Pakistan army, and it was decided this became the international issue of Kashmir issue was kept in international meetings. When the international meetings was held, so international issue it became an Kashmir issue became an international issue, and it was kept in front of United Nations that this is the problem what we are facing. So National Congress Party, they just decided that we are going to accept Kashmir, and finally there was a constitution which has started, and this constitution was accorded with a special status under Article 370. Okay. Now moving further to the next, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, that is the last topic of our session. Dadra and Nagar Haveli are located in the interior parts of Gujarat coast. It is in northern bank of river Ganga. It was a part of Portuguese domain and was administered by a Portuguese governor when there was colonial entry. Okay, it was anticipated that after India's independence, the Portuguese would hand it over this region to India and quit. Means it was decided already when Portuguese will left India. So at the end, while they are leaving India, they will give to India and then only they will move. However, they did not do so. They have not kept their promises. Therefore, the people in Dadra and Nagar Haveli rose against the Portuguese. The organization, namely United Front of Goans, Azad Gomtak Dal, came together and planned a campaign to free this region from the Portuguese rule. In 1954, Francis Marcondes Vimal Sardesai, the leaders of Azad Gomtak Dal, intensified the struggle with precise protestations. People captured Nagar Haveli. So this was this thing that the people, common people, they have came up that as it was decided by the Portuguese that Portuguese while leaving India they will give Dadra and Nagar Haveli to Indian government and then they will quit. So why they have not given? Why they have not kept their promises? Hence there was a organization came up named as United Front of Goans, Azad Gomtak Dal, and they have fought. And over here some leaders were there: Francis Marcondes, Vimal Sardesai, leader of Azad Gomtak Dal, and who has intensified the struggle. And finally, the other organization, the United Front of Goans, took place. Rashtrwadi Mukti Sena, a branch of Azad Gomtak Dal, took over Naroli, Pimparia and some part of Silvassa. Local police station and administrative offices were attacked. Public unrest reached such extent that the Portuguese army had to beat a retreat. The Portuguese captain Fidalgo surrendered. The government of India appointed K.G. Badalani to bring normalcy in administration in this area. According to the agreement with the Indian government, the region of Dadra and Nagar Haveli was merged in India on 2nd August 1954. Vishwanath Lavande, Raja Babu Wakankar, Sudhir Padke, Nana Sahib Kajarekar, Nilubhau Lemaya, Vasant Janjale and many others participated in this struggle. In 1961, Dadra and Nagar Haveli were given the status of Union Territory. Hence, for becoming an Union Territory, so much of things common people had to take that only because of that the colonial rule were there who were ruling Portuguese. They have not kept their promises. So this organization, the Common People Organization, came up and they have fought with Portuguese, and the government then helped to the people of Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and finally Dadra and Nagar Haveli was decided as Union Territory of India when on 2nd August 1954. So here I complete my our chapter number 7 to subtopic. So let's have a quick revision of this, starting by the introduction. In introduction we have seen the important point as if you are having textbook, just mark it down. Decolonization is a process of ending the colonial rule and handing over the political and administrative power to local people by the colonist. Opposition to colonialism, struggle for independence and the nation under colonization regarding their independence are the three stages of decolonization process. India became independent on 15th August 1947. However, at that time there were several princely states in India. How many it was there? Already we have studied. How many? Yes, 600. The states were given the choice to decide whether to accede to India or not. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel made the political integration of India possible. Means only because of the efforts of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel today we are living in such country. Okay. So here this was the introduction part. Now starting by the second, decolonization to political integration of India. Over here we have started by when India gained independence there were more than 600 princely states. Their political integration was the biggest challenge of independent India. There were political awakening in the princely state because of non-cooperation movement. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel handled the situation with great skill and tact. Except Junagadh, Hyderabad and Kashmir, remaining states merged in India, and later these three also accepted and merged with India. So now these three states we are going to study that why they were not ready to merge. So starting by the first one, that is Junagadh. It was a princely state in Saurashtra, that is Gujarat. In February 1948, Junagadh merged in India. Hyderabad, what happened in Hyderabad? Hyderabad was the largest among the princely states in India. It was ruled by Nizam. His subject fought against the suppressive policy of Nizam. People of the state, Swami Ramanand Tirth led Hyderabad freedom struggle skillfully. Indian government launched Operation Polo. On 17 September 1948, Nizam finally surrendered and the state was merged in India. The Kashmir issue. Now what happened in Kashmir? Hari Singh. The king was Hari Singh. Kashmir state decided neither to join India nor Pakistan. On 22nd October 1947, armed bands of intruders attacked Kashmir from the Pakistan border. King Hari Singh asked India for help, and on 27th October 1947, he officially submitted the agreement, instrument of accession, to the government of India. The Indian army captured a significant portion of Kashmir's territory that was acquired. So, King Hari Singh asked India for help on 27th October 1947. He officially submitted the agreement, instrument of accession, to the government of India. The Indian army captured a significant portion of Kashmir's territory that was acquired by the armed intruder from Pakistani border. In 1948, India presented a Kashmir issue in United Nations, but it could not persuade Pakistan to withdraw their troops from the territory of Kashmir occupied by them. However, then the National Conference Party decided to plebiscite to solve the issue and to accede Kashmir to India. The Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir was drafted, and since then Jammu Kashmir has been an integral part of the Republic of India. It was accorded a special status under Article 370. I hope till here you have clear by the topics. Next is Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Over here what happened, this is the Union Territory. Dadra and Nagar Haveli are located in the interior parts of Gujarat coast on the northern bank of the river Damanganga. It was a part of Portuguese domain and was administered by a Portuguese governor. After India's independence, the Portuguese continued their rule. Therefore, the local people in Dadra and Nagar Haveli rose against the Portuguese. The Portuguese captain Fidalgo surrendered. The government of India appointed K.G. Badalani to bring normalcy in administration. According to the agreement with the Indian government, the region of Dadra and Nagar Haveli was merged in India on 22nd August 1954. In 1961, Dadra and Nagar Haveli were given the status of Union Territory. So here we have completed by the revision of our subtopics. I hope you have understood the topics. You have no doubt. If still you are having any doubts, so you can clear it out. Okay, so till then, stay at home, stay safe.